This daf Yerushalmi Shabbos, in the article Ozvar Adeshin, we're on daf Nun Hey Amrav, the second line Dimar Rabbi. Only going to change that gears in a minute, which in the Vilna is on the second line on daf Mem Hey Amrav, Dimar Rabbi. So as we mentioned yesterday, the Bnei Moshe changes the gears here. It's a new thing. Amr Rabbi Yirmiyah Havar, not completely new, but yesterday we talked about Havar l'chalik yotza. Now Rabbi Yirmiyah suggests differently. Rabbi Yirmiyah Havar l'tzorch yotzas. Havar l'tzvarish chomosh v'seichem comes to teach us a separate, distinct halacha. Lamed abati dinim shelo yudarim b'Shabbos. The abati dinim don't judge on Shabbos. U'ma'atayma, what is the evidence here of the Sukkim? It says here, for you Eila Pasuk by Midbar, for you these will be for a law of justice for all generations and all your habitations. Just like there it's about the dinim. So to Batzar which is stated here, which is also about the dinim akos of Medaber. It's about but they dinim. So the two Yerushalmi says in the Bavli and a couple of places is in the same Rabbi Shmuel, and he suggested perhaps here to change gears as well. But the Chasam Sofer says that this is somewhat different. The Bavli is not say about the capital crime, but say about even a basin shel shloisha is not allowed to sit on Shabbos, even for the Mominus. In any event, says the Gemara further, Amr Shumar Avdima, Shumar said, the yes, here is Mikevan, the Yerushalmi suggests to change it to Vafilu, which seems like an obvious change. If you don't change it, it seems that's a shot. Afilu the Tamar, the Tzorech Yotzas, Kamishi Yotzas Shelo Tzorech. The Korban Eda says, Kamishi Yotzas Tzorech, the Kopanim Sheminish Chai Misa, Af al Melachachas. Even if you say that it came out with Tzorech. Sorry, I got cut off there for some reason. So it says that the Korban says a Kopanim Sheminish Chai Misa Af al Melachachas. So even though here it's L'Tzorech to teach us this B'chomosh L'Seichem part, but didn't have to say Lo Svaru Eish. Especially going to Chasam Sofer that it's talking about, which makes a lot of Chasam Sofer actually. I think it's important in this regard. That it's going on any the case of what they did, and so the halacha, it could have just said focus. The Torah could just focus, on the Chumash V'Seichen. Why it's supposed to be in the Lo Svaru Eish? So that part of the pasuk is really Shlo Tzorech. So therefore, that part of the pasuk is really being mechalik. So that's what he says. Again, he says, Amar Rabbi Shmuel Zema, Mikevan, or Afilu Tema L'Tzorech. Even say it's the Torah teaches this halacha of Chomosh V'Seichem. Afilu Tema L'Tzorech, it says, Kamishi Yotzas Shelo Tzorech, Ziv Shelo Tzorech. Okay, so now Gemara says, all right, fine. Davar Yotzas Shelo Tzorech Milamed. With a davar which comes to Shelo Tzorech is Milamed. Teaches us Mechalik Malachos. Hadamra, the teaches us, davar Yotzas Shelo Tzorech, if you have one thing, which comes out l'tzorech, if it's necessary for some other reason, Eino Mecholek can't teach us chiluk malachos. Can't teach us chayv koach v'echad. But shlo tzorech, if it became shlo tzorech, it is cholik. What about shnei dvarim sheyotzim min haklal? Ma'ashech. What about two things which yotzim min haklal? Do we say that you have two yotzim min haklal? Those pratim are also melamed in the klal kulo? Do we say no? It's like shnei ksum abayin keachod and melamdin. They can't teach us anything because there's one exception to the rule. One exception teaches us that we can extrapolate from it. Two exceptions means they're unique and we can't extrapolate from them. So the Shmini, let's on from here. How do we know that any time you had imurim, went up to the mizbeach, anything else which is not supposed to go to the mizbeach, you're not allowed to put on the mizbeach, and it's a lav. Not allowed basar chatos, the flesh of a chatos, basar bosha, the flesh of osha, which was supposed to go to the kohanim, basar kachim, in general, was supposed to go to the kohanim, basar kachim kalim, which can also go to the owners, umosa omer, whatever's left of the korban omer, shtei lechem, lechem aponim, all those go in general shir menachos, other shir menachos, all those things which go to the kohanim, which they're supposed to eat, they're not supposed to zbech. Uminas or vash, and also sor and vash, even though they're not part of korbanos, they're not supposed to be brought at all on top of the zbech. Over lo tasei, over lo tasei. Tamum kos or kol vash lo tzriim men u'shal Hashem. Now, as Moshe explains here, there are two prohibitions being learned from the pasuk. Ki kol sor vash lo saktiru, sor and vash should not be put on the mizbech. And lo saktiru men u'shal Hashem kol mishamimenu la'ishim. Anytime there is part of the carbon has gone to the eish, kedin the imurim, the rest is lo saktiru. The rest of it you shouldn't put on top of mizbech. Kol sheyesh men la'ishim about saktiru. Rabbi Lezer shal Rabbi Yochanan. Yetzu shnei lechem yamdu al kochim lakeves. Let's say shtei lechem should come out and teach us that all kochim are now allowed to be brought not just on the mizbech but also on the ramp leading up to mizbech. Now this also it's a little bit terse. The Gemara, so the Pnei Moshe elaborates, and let's see about the Pnei Moshe. On this it says, Rabbi Lezer shal Rabbi Yochanan says about this brayso. Rabbi Lezer said Rabbi Yochanan, "Inem yotzu shtei lechem." Do we say the shtei lechem yilamdu ala kevesh? They teach us about the ramp. And it says after this passage it says any mincha which is brought to Hashem should not be made chametz. Gomer. See, korban reishis takriv osam Hashem. The bikurim can come as chametz, shtei lechem. But they're not put in the mizbech for fragrance. They bring them as a tenufa with the two kvasim, with the two sheep, which then become the actual korban. The korban reishis and shtei lechem sheba min chametz. So the korban reishis are the two breads which come in chametz. Mizbech lo yalu. It says on the mizbech they should not come up. You see hamizbech. Hey, marbinon we learn. That feel like kevesh on mizbech lo shouldn't go up even on the ramp. Zer Rabbi Lezer Rabbi Yochanan. The high drush rabbis hakevesh. Rabbi Lezer said, "This is what you should learn to include the ramp." Yafim because of shtei lechem, which learn from the pasuk shtei lechem. Inomen them lamdim heim elu. Now kochim down. Do we say that this teaches us about the prior kochim, which we enumerated? That aminan over aleim about taktiru. But we say if you brought him his blech, there it's his baal taktiru. We say also shakevesh who comes back that the ramp is on his back. And if he went up on the ramp, gankin roiver. He also everything went. These went up on the ramp. So Amalei said, "We respond to him." The Pnei Moshe puts the word in here. In, yes. The Tanya mizbech with a hey. In the elam mizbech. Miharabos says kevesh. How do we know he includes the ramp? Tamalom Ravel ha mizbech lo yalu. Okay, so you shouldn't put up on the ha-mizbech. With the ha-mizbech, the hay teaches also the kevesh. Do I say it's true that now I'll go up on the ramp, even not for the purpose of avodah, not for the purpose of bringing on top of mizbech? You don't say it's doing it, but you're still over the lav. So when it says, no, tamlom l'rech nichach. Don't bring up l'rech nichach. Lo amarti el avodah. So it's only a problem if you're doing it in order to put them out to the top of the mizbech for the purpose of doing the avodah with them, which means in order to actually burn them. Then even going up on the ramp is also. But stop going up on the ramp without intent of, I guess you misstepped and went up on the ramp somehow. So that's not a problem. So Amar Lei, the Rabbi Lezer said to Rabbi Yochanan, Osam. Okay, so let's see the carbon 8 on this. Osam dichsiv gabis or v'dvash. Says so dvash carbon rashis takriv osam. Taishtei alechem shem esor ubikum shem dvash. The two breads are fermented, and the bikurim can come from dvash from dates. The ksiv haikra, which are meant just possible, come on as it says carbon rashis takriv osam. They can be carbon ratios. Time shtei lechem minas or the two breads shuas come from soil sicha meitz tefena. For rashis mikru, and they're called rashis. They in reish kol menachos habos mitu shana zu. They're the first carbon which comes from the grain of this year. the Chsiba Micha Chadasha, even though we brought the Korban Omer, that was from barley, this is from wheat. Ubikur Min Advash, and the was brought from the dates, the Rashis, the Rashis Bikurei ad Moscha, right? Hanachu the Rabbi Le Kevesh Kemizbech. These are the ones by which this Kevesh Kemizbech. Ki Yichsiv El Mizbech with extra hay lo yalu. So it says osam, right? So if that is a mute, it should be a mute. Elu Chevel Lein Kevesh. And these you schreiv is to put them on the Kevesh. Then Sharkot Shim Chevel a Kevesh, right? Only these two, not the other ones. Okay, so now this is all brought down as a prelude to the next line, which is goes back to our original question. So again, I'm the osam mute. Osam. So the only reason why we can't extrapolate from these two cases of Sor and Vash is because it says osam. That's apparently the question of Rabbi Yechon. Ha'eno kasav osam malamdin. Wouldn't say osam, they would be malami. We would be able to extrapolate. Hadamar stay advarim sheyotzim min haklau. Name Moshe takes that next word for obvious reasons. Chokin. We would be able to learn chiluk malachas. In other words, here it's really that it's more than chiluk, but it means it could teach us that you're chayiv on each and every other thing, which each and everything which is in the mizbech, from which suddenly came laishim that you're not allowed to put on top of the mizbech. Each one. Rabbi China, Rabbi Hillel, no. Lachlok ain't a chokin. Lami. You don't know chiluk malachos. We never say chayav kol achas v'achas. It wasn't in medubur here. It wasn't the issue. But you're right. Halamid. You see, they can be malamid. Shnei dvarim sheyotzim min haklau be malamid. We're not for osam, and we'll teach you that everything that is also put on the mizbech, and now put on the kevesh. But if not for osam, it would be malamid. Those two things, but now you don't see anything about mechiluk here. Rabbi Yosef Rabun Lamar Rabbi Yosef Rabun did not learn that the discussion, the dialogue between Eliezer and Rabbi Yochanan was this way, but rather the dialogue went as follows. So Eliezer showed Rabbi Yochanan, Eliezer asked Rabbi Yochanan, "V'yetzu shtei lechem v'lamdu kol kachim v'kevesh." Let shtei lechem go out and teach us that all kachim you're not allowed to put on the ramp, not just on the top, but also on the ramp. Amarle, Rabbi Yochanan said to him, osam, mute. Osam is an exclusion. Perhaps the reason is because these are not supposed to go on top of Mizrach. None of these parts are supposed to go in the Mizrach at all. Right? The Sor Dvash. Right? So therefore, even going on the Kevesh is an Isser. But stuff which part of it does go on the top of the fire, Mizrach to the fire. Perhaps the other parts which are not supposed to go, they're not supposed to go to the fire. But Kevesh we don't care about. Something along those lines. But in any event, Osam is the mute, on only those you're chayiv you go up with them, the Kevesh, not anything else you're chayiv to go up with the Kevesh. So going back now to Rabbi Chena Braid, Rabbi Hillel said, Lachlok ein mechok ein lam ein melamdin. So Gemara says, Hadar Marad, this teaches us, David Shetz Me'akal Tzorech, Eino Cholek, Shot Tzorech Cholek, like that we said before, the one, things it comes out of the cloud, Tzorech, can't teach Chilnaka, Shot Tzorech Cholek, which name one Shetz Me'akal, but two things to Yetz Me'akal, Eino Chokin, they're not Cholek. They're Melamed, they're not Cholek. That was what we said before. Now, Rabbi Shmuel Chokin. Like Rabbi Shmuel, however, we're about to see, they are cholik. Two shnei dvarim yotzim haklau are cholik. To Tanya Rabbi Shmuel, we learned Rabbi Shmuel says, lo sanachshu lo sananenu. It says, you should not do nichush, and you should not do inun, whatever it is. Okay, so the halo nichush v'ninun bichlal hayu. They were included in the general prohibitions of sorcery. v'yotzim l'klal l'chiluk, and they came out from the klal and then mechalik. They teach us that you chayiv on each and every type of nichush or ina that you do, kishuv. How you do the two things, nichush and inun, and the yotzim l'klal, and they teach us that they are that we see that two things are mechalik. And the Yerushalmi has said that you're chayiv in each and every type of kishuv which you do. Okay, so that we know so far by Lavin. That a lav which is yotza is yotza chalik. But what about cloud bikoris and prat bikoris? What about if you have a cloud by kores, the general principle of kores nichos nefashos oisos, and one of them is yotzim in a cloud. In this case, it's a chaysoi. The nefashos is by general arayos, and a chayso is a specific one. Forget the exact list of the pasuk. It's coming up. No, not that one. The one. Yeah, so Mr. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, what you're about to learn, and the name Rabbi Yochanan teaches us that Klal Prat, it is a Klal Prat. Now, Klal Prat normally means something else. The Pnei Moshe does put it out here. It's a point Pnei Moshe. Let's see inside. Mr. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, Shemar B'Shem Rabbi Yochanan should be Damar Klal Pratu, Klomar, meaning line Yona, for this matter, the arena bow, which we're talking about, Lina saw to treat it, but Mida, with this Mida, Davish Yatzim in Klal. Davish Yatzim in Klal, Lamid Lo, Lamid Atzmo Yotza, Lamid Klal Kulo Yotza, V'chulei. Dila B'Mida, Deim B'Klal El Masha Prat, the normal Mida of Klal Prat, which is Eim B'Klal El Masha Prat, that the Klal only includes in the Prat, Lo Shayacho is not relevant here. Right? Is that the chorus of general chorus of Arayos and the specific chorus of Achoso? What's Klal Prat here? It doesn't work. Furthermore, Lav Klal Prat Smuchim. It's not Klal Prat Smuchim, and according to most opinions, Klal Prat to be Smuchim to each other. El Kadamran, but rather it's like we say that it's not a regular Klal Prat, but the Prat Achoso Yotzal Lamed Al Klal Kulo. The Prat Achoso comes to teach us the Klal Kulo L'Chalik. To distinguish, to make separate averos. The ma'achosa chelmei kores ifnei atzma. It's like your sister, your chayiv kores by herself. Avkol reis kulan. So do all the reis. So helem echad, you did it in one helem. Chayiv kol achas v'achas. The chayiv in each every one. Okay, so that's Gemara says here. The Mar Rabbi Avo b'Shem Yochanan kikol she'asem kol mean hatevos elu v'nichras. That's the general kores. And then it says here, Oso, but everybody changed it to Achoso. Achoso b'chlal. The sister was included in the general principle. Yotzim in the klal, the chiluk al klal comes it was taken out of the klal to teach us about the klal. Yechayiv each every one. So hey, Rabbi Lezer says v'aksiv erbas achos imcha v'gomer. So there's another one. There's another in the prat. I read the Gomer from the Pnei Moshe. Sorry, I didn't read the Pnei Moshe. So what's that? Can be chalik. We learn chalik from Achoso. Why do you need this additional yotza min haklau? The tzach yotza lidam by roya. You can teach you chayiv in arah that you're chayiv even just for arah, even for the beginning of bia without doing the gemar bia. So Amalei said, I already know that. Vaksiv already says, Isha sheishkav es ishtadavav, a person has relations with a woman's anita, he loves hervasah, and he reveals her nakedness, esum kara hara. So it says explicitly, hara, right? Amalei tzorach yotzas. So he says, this also is to teach us litzarech. Is necessary lida basam are kegomer. To teach us that also by nida, which is somewhat different than other rayas than Maris Gegomer. Shlo Tomer shouldn't say Hov Enchel Le Mishum Tuma, and the Shas says here is have changed girsa Enchel El Mishum Tuma, because neither is not a rayas because it's a relative. It's a rayas because she's Tamea. So I might say it's not the same as other rayas. There's Nachronim Taka, with the extent to which Nida is like an Erva or not like an Erva. So they meant, I might say that you're not chayav on on our raw by Nida. The word chayav okachas pachas, the words chayav okachas, the says the word are not shaykh here. Because we're not talking about that. We're talking about so have to take on those words. Amarlei v'aksiv. Okay, we have another one. Another one's Yetzim Neklal. It says Vishesh Kavs do Vasto Dogila. So we have an ant associates Neklal. So it said Amarlei Lotzorach Lidun Bariri. That's also Tzorach. Come and tell us there's a special extra punishment there. Ariri of the barrenness, which is besides the regular chorus. Okay, but what do we have another one? The brother's wife. So that also is Yitzot Lidam Bariri. That those it's also a special additional punishment. A barrenness, the Marab Yuda, you don't call the hand of Barim, you have him below Bonim. And then it says, Arin, you they won't have any children. Arim Yamusu, Karin Esbrineim. If it says Arim Yamusu, that means even if they had children, their children will die. So those were singled out in order to teach us the additional punishments of Aririm, which are by them, which are not necessarily by the other creases. Okay, so it continues, but we're ready to reach the next moment.